Generational problems with health. When health problems are passed down through the female line, it indicates distortions of information within that branch of the bloodline. These distortions can occur for a number of reasons, one of which is a magical influence cast long ago and passed down through the female line. Such influences are usually the result of rivalry between two women for the love of one man. It could also be caused by another fault, one that has long-lasting consequences and is the result of the woman's inappropriate behavior. I apologize for using these examples, but my experience suggests that this is often the reason why the female branch becomes weakened and more vulnerable to damage. More specifically, it is a fault resulting from a wrong attitude towards one's own children, including actions such as abortion or even infanticide. There's no need to be horrified. About 300 years ago, in pre-revolutionary times, it was quite common among women who gave birth every year without having the means to feed their children. The termination of a pregnancy and its consequences can create a heavy karma for the entire female branch. There are different ways of dealing with this. Christianity, for example, recommends repentance, but its effectiveness is uncertain. It may or may not work. There are systems designed to cleanse the bloodline, as well as systems of payoffs, which are often more effective because they address the specific debt you owe to your bloodline. You were supposed to bring a new person into the bloodline, but you didn't. You left a gap in its structure. The bloodline had prepared a place for a new human consciousness, but you did not give it a chance to exist. And to fill that gap, the structure of the bloodline has to accept someone else, often a complete stranger, usually the first person who comes along. This can bring benefits to the bloodline, but it can also bring harm. Members of the bloodline may rush to adopt children or marry the wrong people, bringing in someone who will become a virus carrier and give harmful injections into the bloodline. Of course, the bloodline recognizes individuals, groups of people or family lines that pose a threat to its structure. As a result, it takes away their rights, especially the right to reproduce, and no longer relies on them in this matter. The bloodline may give them poor health, cause problems with their reproductive functions, or make the women's fate so unhappy that they simply refuse to have children. This tendency is particularly common in families where women have had many abortions. In other words, where they have got rid of their unborn children, causing serious damage to the bloodline. These are the two main reasons why health problems are passed down through the female line. So how can this problem be solved? There are several ways, but the best approach is to pay back the debt you owe to your bloodline. You must do something very important for your bloodline, something of great value. Information about what to do may come in various ways. Either the Regina of the kin, the oldest woman in the bloodline, will ask you to do something very difficult, something that is never easy. Or you will receive guidance in a dream about something you've never done before, something that feels wild to you. One of our students had an interesting experience. When she wanted to repay her debt to the structure of the bloodline and the land on which it existed, she was asked to sacrifice a bull. This would be understandable if it were 1,000 years ago. But as a modern woman with no experience in such matters, she had no idea how to make such a sacrifice. Nevertheless, she studied the matter and found helpers to assist her against all odds. But it usually doesn't come to that. Most payoffs involve very practical actions for the bloodline, but they are always difficult for the person carrying them out. So just be prepared. These payoffs often defy the logic of events. For example, why should you buy back the family estate that once belonged to your bloodline in order to improve your female health? The estate may now be a car service station, or it may have been destroyed long ago and replaced by a cowshed, or something else. And if that's the case, just imagine what you'd have to do to satisfy the bloodline's demand to reclaim the land for the family estate. However, such situations have happened. The simplest payoff involved a woman planting many trees around a certain piece of land. This was the easiest task the spirits of the kin requested. Usually, such tasks are much more difficult and truly challenging. But if you fulfill them, these seemingly illogical actions can save you and protect the entire female line from significant problems. And not just the female line, sometimes men, out of love, especially deep love, take on some of their wives' heavy karma.